Welcome back, everyone. In the last video, I challenged you to find a way to hide this cart dropdown based on clicking the cart icon. The way we're going to do it is using another context. And here we're going to go into contexts and make a new file, cart.context.jsx. Inside, we need to import the create context as well as use state, because we know we need to store some kind of true-false state of whether or not the cart is open or not. As for the actual cart context, let's create a create context. And inside, we want to make is cart open as the name. So by default, this will be false. And then, of course, we'll do a set is cart open, which is going to point to a function. Then what we want to do is we want to create the provider. So I'll say cart provider is equal to this function that we know will take the children because we've already done this pattern a couple times now. And what we're returning is the cart context.provider. And then inside, we render the children. So here, what we have next is the actual use state. So we'll say is cart open and set is cart open is equal to calling use state of false. As for the value, we'll set this to is cart open and the set is cart open. Setter function that we get from use state, and we pass this in as the value. So now we've got our provider. What we need to do is we need to wrap our application. So let's go to index.js and let's import in the correct provider. So let's think about our cart context. Where most likely should our cart context live? Is there a chance that our cart context is going to need the user and the products? There is a very likely chance that we might use the user in order to query a database for a user's cart if we want to persist it in a third-party database. That way, if a user logs in and they have some cart session that they didn't finish with, we could pull it from that. So combine that with the fact that maybe the products we want to be able to access somehow in the cart provider. We're not certain yet how, but it's a very high possibility because they're probably going to share some details between these products. It's most likely that we want to put the cart provider inside of the products provider and the user provider, but still wrapping the app. So here, now that we have our cart provider and we have the methods on our cart context, we want to start using them inside the navigation component. So we already have our use context. Let's just also bring in the cart context. And here, let's just make sure to update the relative path. And now let's bring in from the context is cart open. Whoop, not the cart provider, sorry, the cart context. And we'll say is cart open. So let's copy that down. And what we want to do is we want to conditionally render the cart dropdown based on the truthiness of this value. So here what we can do is we can wrap is cart dropdown with is cart open and use this, what's known as the short circuit operator. So double ampersand, essentially what happens is, as you know, it tries to evaluate the truthiness of this statement. So in order for a double ampersand to evaluate as true, both the left side and the right side must both evaluate to a truthy value. Truthiness here with is cart open, of course, is true or false because it's a Boolean. But on this side, cart dropdown is going to be a component, meaning that it is a truthy value. Components are all truthy values because they are functions. So here, essentially what this short circuit operator says that if this total thing evaluates to true, then what I'm going to return to you is going to be the last thing you gave me. So our cart dropdown. So what happens is that it's going to evaluate this statement, see that there's a cart dropdown, and if this total statement is true, meaning that is cart open to be true, return the cart dropdown. If this is false, then it won't return anything. This will just exit. So now we've added in the logic to conditionally show our cart. What we need to do now, though, is inside of the cart icon, we need to figure out the actual triggering of setting the value to truth and false. So let's go into our cart icon component and let's import in our use context hook. And we also need to import in the actual context itself. So I want to import in the cart context from, let's go up to our correct corresponding contexts folder and the cart context. And then what we're going to do is we are going to say that const set is cart open equal to use context and the cart context. But is this all we need? Well, let's think about it. Here inside of this icon, what we want to happen is when you click it, if the cart is not open, then open it. If it is open, then close it. So essentially what we want to do is we want to inverse this is cart open option. So here, what I actually want to do is I actually want to create a new function called toggle. I'm going to call it toggle is cart open. And what this function does is it calls the set is cart open method, but it sets it with the opposite value. So the inverse value of what currently is cart open is. And this is how you create what's known as a toggle. So here now we can add to our on click our toggle is cart open. So if I save this now and let's go back to our application, what do I see when I click this? There we go. We've added in this toggling ability and we can now hide and show the actual cart. So that's really good. We've got a lot of functionality in. It's looking a lot closer now to the final application. Now what we need to do is actually do the most challenging portion, which is building in the actual items that we need to add into this section. But before we start doing that, what we want to do is we want to commit our code. So let's go back to our terminal. And what we'll do is we'll git add all of our changes. We'll git commit and we'll say we're adding cart context and our shopping icon, as well as cart dropdown. So here, let's push this up. And now let's build in this cart item functionality. I'll see you in the next video.